All right. So here's the StackOS's NFT node program. I'm just it's an overview of the entire program and how it's going to look like. First of all, thank you very much, for coming here. Spending valuable time with me for the next 1 hour, and thank you for the support. You guys have been phenomenal in terms of overall participation. The discussions which I'm seeing in the group. I try to address most questions which I see, and there have been like almost over like few thousands of messages every single day. So I try to screen them as soon as possible, and the ones which are not necessarily answered, or I feel have not been answered, are the ones which I really respond to quickly. So thank you for bearing with us, with all the excitement around this program and everything. So Stack versus Node NFT program. So let me start with an overview of what exactly the Stack versus NFT do and why is it important for the Stack versus ecosystem. Yeah. So as we have spoken about this a few times, and in our on the website and also on some of the Medium pages. So Stack versus NFT is basically something which is used to create slots on the network. So if you just talk about it from an overall perspective, the entire Stack versus decentralized cloud network requires slots on which the compute nodes run, right? And if you look at StackOS from many of the technologies around the world, how StackOS is different from everyone else is because that in StackOS, way it operates are the nodes on the StackOS's network. They ramp up and they go down as the traffic increases or reduces. So if there's more traffic, there are more nodes required. So automatically the network deploys more nodes to serve the network, right? And then when you don't have that much traffic from people, it works to reduce the number of nodes on the network. So if you see the function of the nodes are very, very different, because in many of the programs or technologies, you have those fixed number of nodes and they run all the time, right? And that actually is a lot of economic waste. You don't want servers running and not being used, right? So that's kind of the big differentiator of StackOS from any other technologies in the world. So how does StackOS solve that problem of allowing the network to scale to a specific size, right? So that's what the StackOS slots are. So slots are basically on the entire network. They create these spots on which where instances can be run and run by the cluster operators. So even though you would have the node NFTs create these slots and increase the size of the network, and when cluster operators are seeing increased traffic, they will automatically use an available slot to run a node, right? So that is kind of the design of the Stack versus network, and that's why the node NFTs are kind of critical, because that is the only way in which you can create these slots on the network. Yeah. Again, guys, feel free to ask any questions as they come in, right? So yeah, that's kind of the design overview of that. Now, how does StackOS NFT different from a node, right? Again, as the same difference goes, StackOS as node NFTs are not nodes, right? They create slots, right? So and each NFT can create only one slot. And let's say an NFT creates a slot on the network. There are a lot of incentives which our program brings in. So for instance, whenever any of these NFTs are traded amongst the market, you would see that all of the early generations of these NFTs get rewards from the trading fees. And although they may not sound that big, but it's actually pretty important, right? Because and I think there's an explanation over here which is given as well in terms of an explanation. So let's say that in generation one has got 100 NFTs and they have traded like 5 times each, so about 500 trades have happened at an average price of $400, right? So if you look at it from that perspective, of 500 trades of $400 each is basically $200,000 in each, right? And let's say that as per the calculations and based on the division of these rewards, 80% of the trading fees goes to the seller of the NFTs, right? And then the rest, 20% is split between the early generation NFT holders and the liquidity pool. And I'll come to the next part later. But all of those early generation NFTs, they receive the trading fees from all the future trading of NFTs, right? So the earlier version of NFTs you have, the more valuable they become over time, right? Because those many new trading fees will actually roll up to the topmost NFT, right? So that's kind of the value generation in terms of how valuable these things become as the time. Now, talking about this thing a little more, right? I also talked about the Stack Matic liquidity pool, 50% of the 10%, 20% which gets divided. 10% goes to the NFT holders. The next 10% goes to the Stack Matic pair, right? And this is kind of extremely important because what happens is when the market is seeing a lot of these so as there's more trades happening on the network, people are trading a lot amount of rewards are being sent out. You would see that the prices automatically get affected in the market, and the way Stack was it kind of creates single side kind of pressure. So as there's more sales happening of the Stack tokens, and the price is going hopefully on the higher side, the liquidity pool keeps getting added. So as more trades happen, as more NFTs are minted, the value of the Stack goes up, and it creates a higher liquidity pool. And for the ones who don't necessarily understand liquidity pool, is basically means that you require a much higher sell pressure to move down the price, right? So that's kind of the structure. So basically, the more the trading happening on the network, the better it is for holding a sustainable price. And then it also helps in rewarding the early generation of NFTs. Now that is kind of the ETH rewards, the Matic rewards, and that's where it comes from, right? So as an extension to this program, right, we have an optional program which basically has something called a high APY program. Basically, that much like how you have the yield farms and the different kinds of farming activities, the way this program is designed to get or increase the buy pressure on the Stack token, hopefully by having or expecting the stable coin payments at a monthly rate. So as you have a monthly payment happening of $100 each, it's intended to be giving a good price appreciation to the Stack token. Now it helps a lot of these different folks or community members who hold the Stack tokens, and also developers who are using these tokens to pay for the compute resources, right? Because the Stack payments happen all in dollar equivalents. So when the Stack goes up, they have higher amount of compute, or they can use the compute for longer time. So it's kind of a win-win for the ecosystem as it starts to bring in. Now, so what we do is, at each $100 payment, which comes every month, it helps them, it gives them back an APY of about 550%, right? And again, these numbers are very different for different perspectives. But the way we have been calculating this is that, when people pay $100 in Stack, they immediately receive an asset worth $180 worth of Stack, right? And that's locked up into the NFT. So it's much like gold, right? So when you pay $100 for gold, you immediately get gold back $100 from a market, right? So in a very similar manner, when you pay the $100, you get an NFT where your NFT starts to accumulate $180 worth of Stack, right? So that's kind of the interesting bit. The $100 are basically available for 3 months, which you can withdraw immediately. But the $80 is locked into the NFT for the entire year. So basically, at the point when you receive the NFT, which has $80 free Stack, that is something which they can trade. So people can trade the NFT immediately, or they can wait for the entire year and have the rewards trip over like 1 year. Now, the way we are calculating this, and I think most people how they do this thing as well, is that you have an equivalent asset which is priced 80% more than what you initially invested, right? Or you put in. So that's kind of the reward that you get. And for the ease of calculations also, right? If you see the first month, the first payment which you make has basically gone for the 3 months, right? So it's unlocked in 3 months. The second payment you make is unlocked in 2 months. and the last month's payment which you made in 3 months, it just in 1 month you can get back the entire amount. So that's kind of, it gets better with time. You have more rewards accumulated while reducing the lockup period for your initial invested capital. And the hope is that at the end of the 3 months, people can use the stack which they have got initially put in to really put into the market and be able to get higher gains, right? So that's kind of a program which is very, very different from any other node program or any other ecosystem projects across the crypto space. Now, when you look at the differentiation over here also, right? So when people are operating or they are participating in the high yield or high APY program, they also receive 20% of the reward, 10% of the rewards, right? So basically, what happens is as people, all right. So as new NFTs are minted, and so the 10% of those minting fees in stack tokens are rewarded to all the people who are subscribed in the monthly in the high APY program. So basically what happens is that as people are participating more, they are incentivized to pay or have or buy or create a buy pressure on the stack token, and then the $10 minting fee. So they receive all of that as well. So the early generation NFTs, they receive much more, right? I mean, as long as you have minted an NFT, obviously you receive as more NFTs are minted. So that's kind of an economic model of how the minting fees, the APY functions actually work. So with time, you will see that each of these NFTs they receive higher in APY, right, which is from the yield program. So you have NFTs which were originally valued at $200. These $200 worth of NFTs, they will receive in, let's say, in 3 months, they have $80 worth of stack tokens locked in. So 80/24, so about $240 worth of stack tokens are pretty much locked into the NFT. You will probably a little bit less than that because people can remove until 3 months, but at a ballpark of around $240 worth of stack tokens are still locked up into the NFT. Now that basically brings up the value of the NFT from $200 to $440 worth of stack token. So, and that's only in 3 months, right? So as you would see that the value of the new NFTs goes up, so will you will see that the newer generation of NFTs which are minted, they will also be paying back these NFTs, right? And of course, because of ETH and Matic rewards which are received by this NFT, they will start to get more valuable. So even though they may have stack tokens locked up of $440, because of the ETH reward which they're receiving, it could go even higher, right? And again, it's very subject to how much trades are happening. But at least I would expect some of those NFTs would probably earn a few ETHs, right? In a few months, in fact. So it can be highly rewarding to have those early generation NFTs. And so when you have NFTs which are valued higher, the more they trade, the more the trading value, and that means there are more ETH and rewards which are paid back to the generations earlier, right? So basically, it's hopefully it is mechanized such that the value of the NFTs keeps going on the higher side with each trade happening, which increases the value even more, and which increases the ETH rewards paid out. So that's kind of the vicious circle, which can actually be used in a very positive way in which to bring up the trading fees, also to even hold a higher value of the entire network. So because of the liquidity, the new liquidity which gets injected, or also because of the stack liquidity pool which keeps getting increased. So that's kind of the beauty of the entire structure. And again, there are incentives to launch more NFTs, right? So let's say we talked about this earlier. When people pay the monthly $100, they receive the $100 back in 3 months at no cost, right? So there's no taxation. Now, in fact, when you pay the $100 every month, it is almost immediately available to you, right? It's just that if you withdraw too early than before the first 3 months of the start of the program, you will lose 75%, right? So you're better off holding initial capital injection for the 3 months, and then claiming that back if you want to. So that's kind of it holds for the first 3 months. The NFT stack value creates a buy pressure as well on the stack token. Now, what we want to do is incentivize people to launch new NFTs as well, right? So when you're using the locked up rewards, you can do that at a 20% discount. So instead of paying $200 to mint a new NFT from your stack tokens in your wallet, you could actually use your 3 months, which are locked in rewards, to basically mint new NFTs before even 3 months period has passed. So that's kind of it incentivizes people to get to mint more NFTs and also be rewarded for paying the monthly fee. So that's kind of the overall structure, and I'm sure this is going to raise a lot of questions, and I'm happy to explain this more. And I promise you, read this thing a few times, you will start to love the program as you go. We have got some amazing feedback from people who have gone through the article a few times and then have come back and are pretty excited about the program as they think about it and conceptualize that. Let me be
So
very
can I ask a question?
So yes, please go on.
So the 80 stack that is locked in NFT, so just bear with me. When we get paid back, would it be just $80 worth of it? So for example, say the stack price goes up to $1, would we be paid back 80 stack?
Yes,
Or is it, so it's in stack, isn't it? So whatever, it doesn't matter about the price action, does it? It's just always going to be in stack.
exactly. So what gets locked in is what you pay the first month, right? So let's say you on day one you pay $100 in stack. Those
Yeah.
$80 worth of stack are locked into the NFT, and now that NFT is going to drip that number of stack tokens over 12 months, right? So if price appreciates, you'll potentially be dripped, like let's say it multiplies by 10x, right? So the
Yeah.
$80 will basically, that NFT will release $800 worth of stack tokens over the year.
So is it what you initially put in? So for example, stack now is 10 cents, isn't it? So to buy a
Yes.
node is what 2,000 stack, isn't it really?
Yes.
So that
So that
2,000
that that
stack
is the
would be
minting
100.
fee, right? That is
Okay.
the NFT minting fee, right? So that basically, because to mint a new NFT,
Yeah.
anyone has to pay $200 worth, right? So
Okay.
so the value of the NFT is held at the value of what you put in, because that is the only way you can mint it. You can either choose not to mint it, or you can just keep it. I would argue that over, like, let's say a month or two, those NFTs are much more valuable because they're early generation, right?
Mhm.
So, but you don't get back your stack which you used to mint them. You just change from one asset to another. So basically, you switch from stack of $200, 2,000 stack turns into an NFT, which is
Yeah.
equivalent dollar value, right? But the
Yeah.
rewards, which I'm just talking about, are basically the monthly fee which you pay in. So let's say you pay $100 the first month. That is
Mhm.
$100 which gets locked in, and then you get $80 worth in stack locked into the NFT, which is dripped over the entire year.
Okay. So for instance, now what is it? $100 is just say 1,000 stack. Could we pay in stack? Is or do we have to pay in stablecoin like USDT?
Yeah. So it was needed to be in stable coins. But like you just asked this question, it's one of the most requested feature. They were like expecting, hoping that they can people can start or adding or paying it in stack tokens instead. So we this was kind of an announcement which I wanted to make earlier, or by the
Mhm.
end of the program. But I'm not surprised this question came up too early. So we have listened to the community, to you guys, and decided that, hey, you know what, we will make it easier to make the payments, the monthly payments. So if you hold $100 in stack, you can use that directly to pay the $100, or you can put in your stable coins. And here's the interesting bit, right? The ones who are bullish on stack, they would be better off paying $100 in stable and receive almost 5 times the stack in return, instead of using the same the rewards which they have to put it back into the system, right? So you could, in theory, after the 3 months, you could pick the same rewards which you received and use it to repay and continue your program.
I'm just Vishu, I'm just struggling to see how price action actually matters of Stack.
Mhm,
Like for example, when it comes to normal like other node programs or other kind of protocols out there,
mhm,
because you've come up with something completely different. I think that's
mhm.
why a lot of people are struggling to understand it.
Yes.
Um, so like for example, to buy a node or to purchase it or to mint one, it'll be a
Mhm,
certain amount of Stack. For example, 2,000 Stack, and then it gives you
mhm,
back a certain amount. So when
mhm,
it comes to, it's like you're pegging it to dollar
mhm.
in
Yes.
essence. So
Correct.
that's where the confusion is. So by doing that, it's like the price of Stack doesn't really matter,
Mhm,
or
correct.
does it? I'm struggling to understand that.
Yes. It matters to mint the NFT, right? So the higher the value of the stack token at the time of the minting, the lesser stack you pay to create these NFTs, right? And let me explain the reason why it is done this way, right? And you, it was a good question because you try to draw a relation with a lot of other NFT programs, right? And or not NFT programs, but node programs. And here's let me put some light and shed some light onto it. Now, let's say on Ethereum, right? You write in version 2, um, you need to put 32 worth or 32 ETH in order to launch a node, correct? Yes.
Yes,
Right.
yes, sorry.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
right.
Yeah.
Cool. Yes, correct. So what happens is that when you want to launch more nodes on the network, it becomes more expensive at time because more NFTs or more of these ETH are locked in. More ETH locked in means the more expensive they get to, and then what it means is you need to have more people with really high capital launching these nodes, right? And it may
Yeah.
work for Ethereum because it doesn't require a million or 10 million nodes, right, to draw consensus. It's different with any D cloud provider. And there are a lot of competition, in the space in the D cloud or decentralized cloud environment. And I think that is where they fail miserably, right? And the reason is because you cannot, when you have more adoption, you require more nodes, right? You cannot make it increasingly difficult to launch new nodes. Now, and that's one of the big reasons why StackOS, decided that we will be making launching these slots easier or simpler by pegging it to $1, so that when even if the price of Stack appreciates, or even if more adoption increases, it should not get worse with time. You should be able to scale up very, very quickly for enterprise grade applications, right? Because when let's say Amazon is, let's say one of the top websites are like Facebook, like it's using StackOS, right? You would you cannot be like, hey, you know what? Tomorrow, because the stack token has gone up in value, people will stop or shut down their nodes, get back their stack tokens, and let Facebook, like stop working, right? That's a very insane amount of thought process, and that is what all the other cloud providers or decentralized cloud operators are functioning and failing to, understand this part. Is that for a real decentralized cloud, you need more nodes with time. As there are more applications deployed and running on the ecosystem, you require more nodes to be launched instantly without any fallback. So you need to be able to scale up very quickly. And when there's no use, you come down to a sustainable number of nodes, right? So that's kind of the reason why the StackOS has intentionally focused on creating a system where you're pegging creation of these slots at a dollar value and not at a fixed stack.
Okay.
Okay,
I
so
think I get it.
sorry. Yeah.
I think I get it. Sorry to cut you in if I've done that. I just have a question quickly. So to
Absolutely.
recap, it means that Stack will always be $200, no matter how high it goes, for everybody to always join in. The only thing I'd like to clarify is, are we still going to get the chance to either do it as a stable coin that's for the higher APY, or it would always be Stack, or we get the choice of either one we want to use, as in to pay the monthly fees?
Great question. So it would be you could pick between stablecoin, which is DAI as USDT and USDC, and Stack, right? So the ones who are long-term believers, they don't want to not have the Stack right now. So we had a lot of these people. We said, hey, we are holding the Stack because we know it's highly valuable, and they were seriously wanting to have the Stack. Or to be able to buy the Stack now and then also be able to pay the monthly fee in the future. So, it is good to answer your question in one sentence. Yes, it's good to support stablecoins and Stack as well.
Okay, second question I have is that with this ICO program, I think there will be rewards in ETH and Matic, correct?
Yes.
And if that comes through, can we also convert that to pay the maintenance fee instead of having to always inject cash? We can always convert that.
Absolutely, that's also going to be an option. So the reason is that because we want to make it simpler for having liquidity outside of Stack to come into the system. So if you have Matic, ETH as well, it will also be accepted. So the rewards, in fact, and this is where our vision comes in as well, is that in many of these places, and I know some folks, their strategy is to mint more NFTs now, because when you mint it now, you will have more valuable or early generation NFTs, and they can think of paying the monthly fee after, right? Again, it's one of the strategies, and everybody can think of it differently. But people would be, it's expected that as people start accumulating more of these ETH rewards, they'll be putting that into the system to be able to get the higher APYs.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And lastly, I read a bit about the cluster nodes. Yes. So let's just take theoretically, I buy, I don't know, 30 nodes initially when it launches. And maybe I'm lucky to get in one of the generations. Then maybe I buy more or I mint more after complete my 50. Would it work to form the cluster nodes, or does it have to be 50 any of the generations 0 to 9 to form your cluster nodes?
Yes. So it could be any generation of the NFTs. It does not have to be the specific generation. Any NFT whenever you can mint it, can be used to create dark matter, which is used to run the cluster.
And even if it's not an NFT, if it's not in any of the generations, I think it's always the first one is 100, I believe. There's 0. Yes. Then 1 is about 120. So when we run out and we're no longer in any generation, for example, can people still form a cluster with that?
Yes. So basically, as I said, I think it'd be wiser. Actually, it doesn't matter. You can use any of these NFTs to be able to mint dark matter, right, or to run a cluster. So I probably didn't catch the question correctly, but it from 0 to like 120. I don't think there's 120 generation. There is no hard limit. StackOS is the NFT program is an auto-generating program. That means immediately after the first generation finishes, it automatically kicks off or deploys the newer generation. So it's a constant process. It just keeps growing up in number. The design is that it will increase by 20% each generation.
Okay. And sorry, guys, I'm taking a lot of the time to question him, but it's just a lot I've been burning on my mind. Yes. I just also wanted to find out, is it going to get audited?
Absolutely.
This program, and who is it going to be by?
Yeah, so it is going to be audited. We are already talking with few firms, and we'll let you know when it is done. Again, like we have, it's a lot at stake. There's a lot of people's money put into this as well, including mine, right? So it's extremely important for us to get this thing audited and everything, and it will not be released. Like all of our contracts, which we have deployed, on the StackOS ecosystem, have gone through audits in place. I can tell you the first one which we had was from Zokyo. The second one was from Quill Labs, and we're hoping that the third one, which is going to be now, is going to be from Quill Labs most likely. But yeah.
Okay, I think a lot of us are still trying to wrap our head around how it works, but I'm just going to spell it out right the way you've explained.
Yeah. So
let's say I want to make a node today. I need $200 worth of Stack coins to form a node,
correct?
Or an NFT node. I have two options. I can either just collect my rewards when new minters mint, or I go for the higher APY. If we go for the higher APY,
I would just add a little there. So when you have an NFT, you're automatically enrolled to the ETH rewards, right? So regardless of you paying the monthly fee or not, you will receive the ETH and the Matic rewards from the trades or the future generation NFTs, right?
Okay.
Yes. So that comes for any NFT minting. So I would encourage, right, people to get these early generations. The second option is you pay the monthly fee of $100, and if you're doing that, you will receive the high APY program, which is 580% plus, in addition to the minting fees from all the new generation NFTs minting.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think you've answered my questions for now.
Awesome.
So I'll leave it for any other person to ask.
Thank you for your questions. Have a great one.
Question possible.
Yes.
These are for, I mean, maybe some kind of beginners like me. Basically, will there be a dashboard that kind of shows people what maintenance they've paid and what they're pending to pay? Because trying to wrap your head around the 3 months thing can be quite daunting.
Yes, no, absolutely. Again, the intention here is to make it easy, not more difficult. So there is going to be a dashboard where you can come and see your, like what you have, which NFTs you have. There's going to be an app on the StackOS App Store, which you can deploy. But for the ones who have not seen it, I would highly encourage you to look at the App Store of StackOS. They click a button, deploy an app, which is going to be a dedicated website for them for being able to manage their resources.
Right. Okay. Sorry. And then the final question is, just in layman's terms, price action, will it affect rewards?
So no, right? So let's say, it's going to be the time when you are paying the monthly fee, right? So whatever gets locked in at the time when you paid the stack tokens, or you pay the $100 monthly fee, that is the time which the price gets locked in. So the price volatility doesn't matter. So if, let's say, you paid $100 in the first month, you have $80 of the stack token, and let's say tomorrow it goes 10x, your rewards in the NFT are $800 worth now.
Understood. Thank you.
Yes, great.
Hi, Vishnu. I've got just 2 really quick questions. Firstly, obviously Matic and Polygon, pretty cheap gas fees, but would there be an option, just because it's 200 in fiat terms, it would be $200 per node, right? So if you wanted to make a bunch at once, it'd be a bit of a pain to, keep clicking, right? So would there be an option to mass mint NFT nodes?
There will be. There is going to be, again, we have to be cautious of the bots, which are there as well, which can front run many times. So we are going to be creating a mechanism where we are able to block these bots from coming in. And first of all, I think it's going to be pretty quick, right? We deployed the NFT pretty much around that time frame. And we will, so that people don't have time to be able to react and start creating smart contracts to front run, right? So there is, but there is going to be mass minting available, but there is going to be limits on the way you do it.
Right. Okay, makes sense. That's good. That's good to know. Thank you. And then the final question is, so part of the rewards are the kind of future NFT mints, or 10% of the future NFT mints in that reward pool, right? Would those be paid out monthly to earlier generation NFT holders?
That's correct.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
No, so that's it for me. Thanks. I think it's a great program. So
thank you so much. Yeah, we try to make it sustainable, right? So the thing is that as you have more price action and hopefully in the positive direction, all the rewards, we are able to sustain the rewards because we have to pay lesser in rewards there. But we are also hoping people will create more NFTs to be able to, really get incentivized from the price action as well, despite the price action. And that'll be great because the more trades that happen, because people will trade at a discount than the actual NFT plus the rewards which are accumulated. So let's say that even if I have, let's say I received like a half an ETH last month in the rewards, right, from the NFT, I will never sell that NFT at less than half an ETH plus $200 of that NFT value, right? So that actually helps the increase in the trading value. And after increasing trading value, you also, it is a good portion that is used to add to liquidity in the market. So, that also holds the price better than now. In the current programs, which people have been doing across the board, they are creating liquidity pools. They are incentivizing people to be able to, create these farms, and that basically just gets downward pressure because of inflation of the tokens.
Vishnu, question for you, which follows on from a couple of other guys' questions. So
yes.
We're talking about the dashboards where we're trying to track the monthly payments and the high APY program, and also with regards to controls that we're going to put around minting to keep the bots away. Can the community get some early sight of those that we can, I guess, input into and shape what that looks like? I'm just conscious that we're going to get one chance to get the node program launched right, and it'd be good if we had some early sight of that, and we can all help out.
What I could do is at the time of the launch is when I could tell what exactly that is. The thing is, if I tell, it's basically software, right? So if I tell anyone or in this community with how many other, like, if I know 70 or 80 people right now who are hearing me, right? But most of them have been great right now, but at the beginning we did see some fraudulent players coming in. So my suspicion is that if I say something right now, they will create bots such that they can circumvent those features, right? And once those contracts are deployed, there's no way to really come back. So I would probably withhold that information until we launch, and maybe right after or about the time I launch, I can tell you the limits which we have.
Okay, so perhaps then we could get some early sight of what the dashboards look like rather than the node creation mechanism.
Yeah. So I think dashboard, I believe we can definitely show you how it looks like. Okay, I see your question now. So you're talking in regards to how the user interface looks and not the contract per se.
Yeah, how we're going to interact, how we're going to keep track of everything we've got live if we plan to launch 50 nodes plus, that sort of thing.
Absolutely, I'll do that, yes. So once we have that finalized, we can share that information with you. With you, I mean the entire community.
So it's not ready. I don't think it's ready to be shown now.
Yes, yeah. The UX is not ready right now to show. The smart contracts are basically the pain in the ass right now, because as you see, this has been an extremely difficult contract programming, and it can't go wrong. So there's a lot of things at stake. We have to make sure this is right, and most of the focus has been there. But that's almost through. So we are going to be working on the UX.
Hi Vishnu, question regarding the generation 0. Is there going to be a minimum amount of stack required to be able to enter the lottery, or because I was hearing somewhere that you needed around $3,000 worth?
Yes.
Is that correct?
So that is correct. Yes and no. So the value of the Gen 0 has not been officially declared yet. But what I have said is that, in the public forum, is that it's going to be priced approximately $3,000 worth of stack. Okay. And here is the interesting bit. We want more people to participate here as well. So when people are participating in the Gen 0 sale, they basically have, it's a lottery, right? We kind of want to keep it fair for everyone and not have some folks get it, and obviously. So this is going to be completely driven by smart contracts. It's even the random variable which gets picked in. And by the way, for the ones who are technical here, they know that getting a variability within blockchain is very, very difficult, or almost next to impossible. So we are using the Chainlink oracles to be able to get those random variables, and it's done completely 100% through the smart contracts. For all the lotteries and the auctions which will happen. And to participate in this, you basically have to, stake the stack tokens into the pool which we will be showing up. And the people who are picked up or who have enough stack, they are able to mint those NFTs. And the ones and people who have not won any lotteries or anything of that sort, they can use the same stack tokens locked in to mint the new NFTs at a discounted price.
Perfect. Thank you.
Of course.
So we just need to be staking the stack tokens at the moment just to be entered into lottery. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, but for clarification, that contract is not out yet. It's going to be on the Polygon chain. So, and that is going to be up right about when that lottery is going to be public.
Okay, so how would we enter it? Because at the moment, I'm staking on the BSC network.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
would I need to bridge over my stack tokens to Polygon, and
That's
then
right.
basically, so about $3,000 worth, and then stake it on the Polygon network?
Correct. Yes. So
okay.
so there's a bridge was available by Poly.network, and it's very, very simple to use. And if you have it on BSC, it's almost like less than $1 transaction fees to really move the BSC tokens to Polygon automatic.
Yeah.
And it should be very, very quick. I mean, it took me like half a minute to be able to bridge the tokens over. So you don't have to do anything now. If I was you, I would just keep it in BSC until the node programmer say, hey, it's going to go live tomorrow or day after tomorrow or in the week. So I would remove just around that time and just keep it where it is right now.
Okay, so is the actual date for the launch of the nodes?
So the launch of the nodes are intended to be end of this year, but again, it's smart contracts, audits and stuff. So we want to be flexible, but at least we have that ballpark to kind of work with.
Okay, so end of the okay. Thank you, Vishnu.
Of course, man. Thank you for that question.
Hi, Vishnu. I've got a question.
Of course.
So as you know, there are many nodes as a service protocols. What would be the difference between you guys and, for example, StrongBlock?
Yeah. So I don't want to comment too much about what StrongBlock does. I think the very different programs between StrongBlock and StackOS. The way StackOS is, I mean, here's the thing which I know of, and again, I've also participated in a strong rewards as well. But high level, if I launch my node on Strong or on StrongBlock, there's no way for me to sell my StrongBlock to somebody else, right? StackOS allows that flexibility to be able to sell the NFT from to someone else if I want to, right? So I think that's one of the biggest game-changing thing there.
Your investment is basically liquid.
Exactly, and that's why we call it a liquid asset.
Understood.
Exactly, it's a liquid asset. So when you pay, once you pay the or $200 worth in stack tokens to launch an NFT, that NFT is liquid immediately, right? Which you can sell to the market. And the earlier you are, the better you are off, because market will value it higher than what you paid for.
Okay, that's fine. Also, are you guys talking to certain protocols for them to use your service at the moment, or?
Yeah. So as of date, I mean, I can't tell you date, but at least like a half a week, so like 5-6 days back, our numbers were about 317 projects were running on StackOS. So it's already heavily used, and we have over I think it was about 3.75 million transactions a few days back.
That's good. Good to know.
Yeah.
Also, do you guys plan to expand on other chains in the future? For example, maybe AVAX?
Yes.
That's good. Okay. A few more. Do you plan on getting any more VCs to invest?
No.
Not at the moment?
Not at the moment, yeah. I mean, we have raised the capital we have. We are operationally very sustainable. In fact, all of our operations cost currently, they are paid off from our interest on the capital which we have. So we do not necessarily require any capital injection at this point in time.
Understood.
We're cash positive already. We are profitable already. All the cluster operators are profitable at this point in time.
Understood. Couple more. So as you know, a node, it generates income from node trades, 50%.
Yes, 50%. 20% is taken off, and 50% of that is given for rewards.
Yeah, but someone can just mint a node, right? So what would incentivize someone to trade a node as opposed to minting one?
So here's the thing: if I have, let's say, I have paid the monthly fee for 6 months, right? I put $80. I paid the maintenance fee 6 months. Then basically it's 48. So I have basically put stack tokens worth of $480 onto my node, which is locked in. Let's say 400 because people may have removed $80 worth of stack in 6 months. So let's say you have $400 worth in stack tokens there, right? It's going to be available only end of the year, not immediately, right? So you may want to say, hey, I'm ready to sell this NFT at 400 plus 200. So let's say $500 instead of $600 because I don't want to hold that long, right? So there is incentive to be able to just trade that NFT without holding the stack token there, right? Also, that people, there's always a market for purchase and sale at every single point in time. So much like any market, there are some sellers who want to get out. There's some sellers who want to be in.
Okay, understood. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Vishnu.
Of course, man. Pleasure.
There's a really good question in the chat there about what's the benefit of running a cluster. If you could go with that, please.
Absolutely. So cluster operators are the ones who have some technical knowledge, right? Again, the way stack. Again, let me just bring out some background information. All the clusters which are operating on the StackOS network currently, they have not been touched even once, and they are pretty much self-sustaining and they're just earning rewards, right, or returns. So that is kind of the picture. Now, that doesn't mean it's always going to stay this way. Our hope is it stays this way, right? But there will be time when you would want to actively manage or increase, let's say, the clusters are fully automated, right? So they can automatically scale up when the traffic increases. They automatically scale down when the traffic is lower on the network, right? So that's already operational. Now, there could be some time when there is some issue and they need to be more hands-on to fix that, right? So the clusters are the ones who have technical knowledge, even though they may not have it immediately, and there would be time they should be available at that point in time. And also the reason why we want to do that is because it's like a business, right? When you are operating a business, there is cash flow, and you can keep operating the clusters. People are going to be deploying applications on your cluster, and they get returns on you, right? So you can use that capital for doing your stuff, and which are usually these would be mapped to dollar value as well, right? So it's basically like a operating business. You can run your cluster and earn from the utilization of those servers.
Awesome, thank you.
Great.
Okay, one more thing, Vishnu. You mentioned that for the lottery, it's $3,000 worth of stock to get in. So if you were to get get a lottery, for example, you won the lottery, does that mean you only get one NFT token generation Z for 3,000, or you mint all that 3,000 to get more?
So I probably didn't understand the question, but let me just address it, and maybe you can tell me if I didn't cover your answer. Right. So
okay.
when you lock in $3,000 worth of stack in the smart contract, you either win the lottery or you don't. Right. So let's say you do win the lottery, you get then you can mint the NFT immediately. Right. Now,
is it just one?
Is it just one? Yes, you just get one NFT, correct? Yes.
Okay, for that 3,000, just one NFT for the 3,000,
just correct.
$200 worth.
No, you get just one NFT, which is Gen 0 NFT, and they're only 100 in number, so there's no way we can give those many NFTs out, right? And only 60% of those NFTs are actually available for lottery. So the 60%, the 60 NFTs will be the ones available for lottery. You get just one NFT. Now, here are the advantages, right? It allows people to invest up to $5,000 worth in stack token for the high APY rewards. So, and what happens is that people can, they can choose to pay $4,000 if they want to and receive that APY, right, for $4,000. So it's going to be very flexible up till $5,000. You can actually pick any range between 0 and 5,000 to be able to get the rewards back. Now, that's very different from any of the future generations. Future generations are locked in at $100. So there's more flexibility. And people who have a lot of capital, they want to they want to see higher returns from APY, which programs. They basically will need to mint like 50 NFTs that way, right? So Instead of that, the Gen Zero has the power of investing into $5,000, which is about 50 NFTs together. But the rewards which they get in ETH and Matic, they are locked in as if they are one NFT. Does that make sense?
So now, if you don't win that,
what I
if you
also want
don't
to add to
win,
that, so I also want to add one thing to it, is that anyone who's a Gen Zero holder or whoever gets the Gen Zero NFT, at some point it is going to, it's going to airdrop dark matter to those first generation NFTs. So which would be pretty much like 50 NFTs together.
Okay. And if you don't win, then the 3,000 get watered down to other generations, or we lose our money.
No, you don't. You keep it, right? So you can withdraw that NFT or those stack tokens which are locked in, or you can use that to mint the newer generation at a discount.
Okay. Thank you.
Vishnu.
Yes.
Hello, Vishnu. Oh, sorry.
Hi, Z-Man.
What will happen with the government pool, which is currently being staked? Would it all be drained and quickly made out, or do we still need the governance pool?
So the governance pool will still be there. We have the people who will not be, withdrawing. So we will be flexible at that point. So
Okay,
people
great.
can that those programs will still be operating. Yes.
Hey, Vishnu.
Hey, Z-Man.
Just got a few questions. One wondering on what the ICO price was as well.
What was the ICO price? IDO price, you mean?
Please.
Yeah,
Yes, IDO,
yeah. So the IDO price was, I believe, I vaguely remember, but it was 1.5 cents, I think. And guys, please correct me if I'm 1.5, I think, but I could be wrong. But and if anyone remembers that off the bat, please correct me.
Yeah, no, that's all right as long as it's an average. And is there any release schedule?
Almost all of these, which were the invested ones, were already been distributed.
That's amazing.
All the VC tokens have been released.
Great. No, that's good to know. And so with me personally, I'd be looking to continuously recompound and reinvest in the protocol because it sounds very promising. I like the way you structured everything.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you. And I was just wondering, what would be your recommendation on a way to recompound?
Sorry, but I honestly cannot suggest that because I honestly don't know. This is kind of the interesting bit. My speculation is as good as yours. But I can tell you this: I am minting, and I also intend to pay the monthly dollars, right? So and I mean, I can tell you different models. Again, people have reached out to me from multiple places, and I can share some of their strategies. I hope they don't get mad at me for sharing those. But there is one mindset that they want to mint more NFTs at the beginning without having to pay the monthly fees, because that way you get the early generation NFTs, right?
Got you.
And then from the ETH reward which they generate, they can use that to pay the monthly fees after. But then there are people who say, hey, that's not the best of ideas because they want to mint enough NFTs at the beginning, but not like all in, right? Because they want to keep their stack tokens, which are a little more liquid for the future, once they make some money, or if it depreciates in price, they should have flexibility to sell those and stuff to get, to realize profits and gains. But then there are the third category also, which say that, hey, they want to put in $100 initially because they think that because you immediately get 5 times those the initial investment, like 500% APY, right? So 3 to 4 times of that you get into your contract, and as the stack tokens appreciate, the NFT appreciates at a faster pace, and then you also have the stack tokens locked into the NFT. So it's more incentivizing to have higher stack tokens locked into the NFT. That means that when you're selling those on the market, your NFTs will be will be at the top range ones with a higher locked in value. So again, there are different mindsets and different strategies, and And I don't think it's going to be fair for me to say this is better than others.
No, because, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
I think I'll work with both. I'll do the stack tokens, mint the NFTs. But it's something. No, it's a long-term outlook, and I think we're very early. Especially, we're not too far away from the ICO price as well. It's good to know that the VC tokens have been unlocked. So shows how invested you guys are as well. So no, that's great. The other one was Vishnu. When do you think you'll be live for us to actually run the nodes?
So we are expecting this technical thing, right? It's all around the nodes. It's on launching the NFTs, right? Which can be used to create slots. But yes, the intention is to launch by the end of the year. But I want to keep the flexibility because again, one more. I mean, it's still intended to end of this year. But it's programming, it's contracts. I want to be, I don't want to get disappointments either when it doesn't release. But by the end of the year, but it should be around that same range of end of the year. One more thing is, I have received multiple people message me and requesting not to have it end of the year because it's a vacation or a holiday time, and they don't want to be constantly biting the nails, while they're enjoying the family time. So
yeah, it'll be a celebration for me with the family time. It'll be a celebration. Yeah, so I'm happy either way. Yeah, so a couple of weeks this way, that way doesn't really make a big difference in the grand scheme of things anyway. And it was what kind of projects would want to use your service? So what kind of project? Sorry.
Yeah, a great question. And as I said, we have over 350 applications or projects running on StackOS, right? And or in that ballpark. The thing is, the numbers have been changing every single day, so I can't give an exact number, and we don't have a live tracking applications. But I remember 320, 350. That was the range which we picked a few days back. And it's been a scope, or it's been a wide range of projects deploying on StackOS. There have been, of course, there are NFT projects which are deploying on StackOS. There are many of our venture capital firms have been deploying on StackOS. I know one of the community members who are present in this call. He represents a venture capital firm, and they have also deployed. They deployed on StackOS like literally a few weeks back. And pending announcement as well. We have a lot of gameathons, and so we have the gameathon series as well, right? So we have a lot of these people who have like the metaverse projects are deploying on StackOS. A lot of gaming projects are deploying on StackOS. There are WordPress applications. I mean, there's been huge ones, right? There was another DAO which actually opened their minting on StackOS like last week. It's called Wombat Team, and they had this thing, and they got enormous amount of traffic, and they didn't have the right sizing capacity, so they needed some assistance there. But it's been a wide variety of applications, and again, I've been telling people, StackOS can deploy almost anything, any application in the world. So it's always open for that.
That's amazing. And any idea of the other chains that you want to get on? Would it be like a Solana, Avalanche, Kronos, anything like that, or you can't disclose that information right now?
Yeah, I can't disclose that information right now, but all the names you've taken are the ones we are looking at seriously.
That's amazing. And sorry, so just to quickly, just to understand it for my last bit, because I know I'm taking up some time. So for example, you $200 for a node, right? So and I paid $100 in stable coins to run that node, right? So that $100 of stable coins will allocate a certain amount of stack tokens that will be locked for me, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, and so basically when those tokens are unlocked, or I can get my rewards back and recompound or use them for fees in the future, if the stack token increases in value, because I think this is what a lot of people weren't understanding, that $200, so it's kind of like it would ideally be costing me less of my $200 for those stack tokens. So in the future, it kind of keeps buy pressure up. So for example, if you were going to see StrongBlock, now the StrongBlock token went all the way past $1,000. So then it doesn't incentivize people to keep stacking nodes because of the high price of each node compared to what people paid at the start. So with yourselves, it's more, it keeps incentivizing buy pressure to increase the amount of nodes that you have worldwide, correct?
Exactly.
And the early investors are the ones who are incentivized to hold and reinvest.
Correct. That's right.
Lovely. Thanks so much.
Of course, man. Thank you so much. I'm glad people are seeing the larger vision, and the intention again of the program has been to make it sustainable and not like, just keep giving free money and nothing happens eventually.
No, this is great.
Yeah. And one thing which people don't actually even see it, maybe they'll see after I say this also, is that when the trades happen of the stack token which are locked up into the NFT, this is why it's very revolutionary, right? Let's say people, when they say it's inflation, right? It is inflation. It adds to the new tokens in the market. But here's the thing: when the NFTs trade at let's say at a discounted value of what was the original price, if you were to pay them, people who are buying those NFTs are paying a premium on that same discount or the inflation which has been there. So it basically helps even nullify the inflation by increasing the actual value of the bot stack.
Yeah. So there's more demand. No, Vishnu, thanks so much for answering my questions.
Yeah, great. Absolutely fantastic questions. Thank you.
Hi, Vishnu. Just want to ask a quick question, or maybe two. So there's only going to be 60 Gen 0 nodes, right? Which is not, yes. Which is not a lot. Yeah, exactly. So once we add our 3,000 or whatever stack to the contract, if we're not successful, is it an automatic transition into a Gen 1 or a Gen 2 or a Gen 3 or a Gen 4, or do we have to manually keep trying if we're not successful at each node stage?
Yeah.
At each iteration?
Right. I think I did address this question earlier on. Maybe I was not clear enough that time. So basically what happens is, in case you don't get the lottery, you can use the same stack tokens in the contract to deploy or to mint a new node NFT. And you don't have to pick a generation. It automatically mints the latest available NFT. So you just say, I want to mint the next one, and then it will automatically pick a generation and solve that.
Okay, sorry, yeah, I must have missed that. Okay, and then the final question is, do you have any tier 1 announcements that you can share? Or
I mean, if I share the announcement now, there is no announcement, right? But yeah, I hope soon. Iman has been texting me this morning, said, hey, let's, that he's excited about some things. So let's see. Again, it does require, it may sound as if it's easy. Trust me, we are really, really, really slogging our ass trying to get this thing right. And it has to be perfect, right? Because it's a coordinated effort from almost all the projects, including us. The timing, the market sentiments, it's insane. It's very difficult to predict even. So, we usually try to pick the best combination of those and try to do our best and hope the market responds that way as well. So, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Of course.
Hi, Vishnu. A couple more questions from me. Firstly, the NFT trading fees that are generated, the ones that are on Ethermatic, is it half ETH, half Matic? Can we pick? Can we choose? How does that work?
So the intention is that we would be releasing those NFT rewards in Matic, and you have a choice to withdraw those in ETH. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
And lastly, from me, I know you're getting a lot of StrongBlock comparisons. I'm going to assume that a lot of people here are StrongBlock investors like myself, but StrongBlock, they halved their rewards. It used to be 0.2, now 0.1. Do you guys plan on halving rewards if it gets too much, or is it going to be consistent?
We haven't decided on how the structure is going to look like. What we have said is that we're going to open that to the DAO to get a number. But those all the variables are changeable. We will take those decisions in time as the market responds to those situations. Right now, we are designed to be more sustainable. So I am honestly not concerned at this point in time. But these are markets. People behave differently.
When the time comes.
Even time comes, we'll probably make a call. But yeah.
Okay, understood. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Vishnu, one more thing. There was something I read in the Medium that if 60% goes to lottery, there was some that would go towards auction and strategic.
Yes.
Can you just expatiate a bit about that, the auction part and the strategic, what that means?
So strategic would be used for, I mean, we haven't decided who's going to be owning the strategic or will be getting the strategic ones. They will not be getting it immediately. It just probably goes over time. But then, the lottery is going to be for the ones who are willing to pay the most number of stack to mint the NFT. They don't again have to, it's just for those who are willing to put in more stack tokens. It helps the market because it gets those mint tokens out of circulation.
Okay, so what about the auction part?
That's an auction, right? So basically, whoever pays the most in stack is the one who gets those ones. So basically, those 20 of those which are going to be available, it's going to be up for the people who are willing to, or who are stacking more stacks, and the more stacks they stack, the top 20 will be selected, and the rest will automatically get unlocked, or and they can choose to either increase their bid, or they can just just decide to not participate anymore.
And is there any penalty if you miss the fees? I think someone just asked that now. So can you postpone your fees? That's the maintenance fees. And is there going to be any penalty if
so there is no penalty as such for, I mean what it does, it resets your clock to 75% tax rate, right? So you can, it's something that you just have to pay 3 months more in continuum to be able to get rid of that withdrawal fee, early withdrawal fee. But then there is no penalty. You don't lose anything. You just have to it just resets your clock back to the first month where you have to pay the first 3 months. Whatever is locked into your node is locked up into your node. There's no impact on that.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. It's been great questions, guys, and I love this conversation, and I'm excited to see that people are seeing the value, the larger view of what we are trying to do here. Again, this has gone through several hundreds of different iterations before we have come to this stage, and it's looking pretty good. Our smart contracts have been in works as well in parallel to this one, and again, as the decisions or changes have been made, they have been implemented in smart contracts as well. So this has been great to see that people are really seeing the sustainability of this program, and also be able to see that how it's really designed to increase liquidity in the markets, with the liquidity pool also designed to how does the stack trading fees and stack rewards or trading fees which are paid in ETH, they increase with time. And as the NFTs get more expensive, there are higher rewards or in ETH and Matic going up the stream to the early NFTs. So that again helps in launching new NFTs and recirculating and paying more monthly fees and hopefully getting the highest buy pressure on the stack token. So that's kind of the design, and which we have gone through. One of our advisors was very excited to this program was because it's a one-way street. You bring the stack and then you get the NFTs, which actually reduces the supply of the stack token, which helps it enormously as well. So, I mean, again, thank you so much for seeing this larger picture with us today. I'm seeing a lot of questions in the group. Humanly, I don't think I can read each of them, but if anyone finds any of the questions are really good, please feel free to, ask that question here. Anyone, we can just read out somebody else's question, and that's fine.
Yeah, I've got to run, Bishop, but I just wanted to say that I think the NFT program is awesome. There's a lot to it. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot to it, but once you kind of get it and it clicks, it is kind of revolutionary. But I just want to say a big thank you for this AMA. It was really clear. You answered questions. Some of them were really tough. What we've seen in the crypto market is kind of a decline actually in teams communicating with us. So this is a breath of fresh air, and is kind of, I think anyway, has instilled a lot of faith and trust in the program. So I know I'll be in. I got to run. So again, just thank you. I think I probably speak for everyone by saying thank you for running this AMA, and at a decent time for those of us in the EU as well. So cheers.
Of course. Thank you so much, Terry.
Thank you, Vishnu. Thank you for this amazing program. As someone just said, it's definitely going to be very revolutionary. And we can't wait to see, how it pans out. I really hope next week, I think is the 51st week, this tier 1 announcement comes. And I hope there's not going to be any delay, because we've had to wait quite a few times. We're hoping for this to launch as early as November. But let's see. We'll keep our hands.
It's a long-term thing, mate. Long-term. So thanks so much, Vishnu. I'm out. Thanks so much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you much, guys.
Vishnu, one more question from me.
Of course, man.
When can I buy my Lamborghini?
Great question. For that you have a liquidate stack, and I'm not sure if you are willing to liquidate the stack.
Thank you, Vishnu. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Vishnu. Take care.
Of course, man. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
StackOS to the moon.
Awesome.
Vishnu?
Yes, I'm still here.
All right, one quick question from me. I joined quite late.
All good.
So for the Gen 0, you stack $3,000 worth of stack, right? For the lottery. And then for the Gen 2, is this the one that's $200 to stack?
Correct. Yes. So Gen 0 is the Genesis NFTs, which are $3,000 worth, or around that figure. That number has not come out yet, but around that number. And everything executive would be $200 in stack. So Gen 1 through Gen Infinity is going to be in stack tokens, or $200 in stack. Yeah.
Cool. So my question is then, if you then stack $3,000 worth of, if $3,000 worth of stack and you don't get in on the lottery, does that automatically then filter into Gen 1? I.e., if somebody comes in with $200 worth of stack with the intention of getting a Gen 1, are they automatically priced out if loads of people jump in on with $3,000, if that makes sense?
Yeah, so here's the challenge, right? When you have $3,000 worth in stack, we can't predict how many people will be really applying for that. It may happen that it may not be it may not even be enough. Even the generation 1 NFTs may not be enough to get one for each of them. So it's going to be hard for us to run it for them. But then those tokens will basically be available to you guys to be able to either withdraw them or use the same NFTs to be able to mint the future generation NFTs at a discounted price.
Okay, so the incentive then is jump in with $3,000. If you miss the lottery, then you jump in on Gen 1 or Gen 2.
Yeah, the future generation, whichever is available at that point in time, you get a discount to mint if that's any a reward.
Okay, all right, that's clear. Yeah, like everyone said, I just wanted to echo everyone's sentiment. Good luck, excited, and thanks for the clarity.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for your presence here.
Vishnu, I got a question regarding the generation. So from what I can remember, it's 100 per generation, isn't it? So Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3.
Gen 0 is 100. Gen 0 is 100. Gen 1 onwards, we have not fixed the number yet. But I mean, this ballpark about 1,000 NFTs in generation 1. Because there's a lot of demand. We don't want people to feel really bad either. So when suddenly they have 200 generation instead of like their hopeful generation 5. So we may start with, again, I want to be very clear. We have not fixed a number. It's a smart contract. We deploy the contract, we put a number there. But we are right now, what's in my mind right now is 1,000 NFTs in generation 1, and they will incrementally increase by 20% each generation.
Okay, so the benefit of having generation 1, 2 is that we'll get a percentage of trading fees, isn't it? As in ETH or Matic.
Yes.
Okay, and until what generation do you think that it's gonna change to that you won't get the trading fees really? After what generation? Do you have that in mind, or? So
here's the thing: as new NFTs as new generations keep coming in, there is always going to be rewards, right? It's something that it's very hard to predict how many NFTs will be minted in the network. But the thing is that they will always be minted, because let's say all of our node capacities are up, and and we need more slots to run new nodes. That means that the cluster operators will themselves create these slots on the network. So hopefully, as more adoption keeps coming in, there'll be more requirement for the slots. So we hope that it just goes across as everyone needs it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Vishnu.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you.
Vish, I've got a question.
Of course, man.
Sorry, I joined really late. Just realized the time the AMA was going on in LinkedIn. So sorry if this has been asked before, but the cost per node, which is set at $200 equivalent of stack, when do you anticipate that to what metrics are you going to use if you're looking at increasing that at some point?
So that will be decided by the DAO, and the DAO is not up yet, but once it is up, it is going to decide the price. As of date, there is no intention to change, at least until the DAO is announced.
Right. Okay. And again, sorry if this has been asked before, but would it not? Is there not a question for long-term holders where they'd say, well, it probably makes more sense possibly just holding the stack tokens as investors?
I mean, that same argument is for many projects as well. I know some projects have, they have benefited from actually running the nodes than holding the stack themselves, or holding their tokens as well. So, like for example, StrongBlock, if you had built a node, a strong node, you probably would have been better off start running a strong node, right? But there are people who have benefited greatly by the appreciation of the native token as well. So it's actually very, very subjective to the community and what they prefer. So there is nothing like the best answer. I would always like to diversify my options, right? So I would personally have it spread out across 3 structures where I would have a set of NFTs which I would be minting, and then I would be paying the monthly fee. There's going to be one section where I will be launching the NFTs, and then just as I'm not paying the monthly fee, I'll rather just wait for the ETH rewards to come in and then pay for the monthly fee. And there'll be a section of my token which are going to be in stack tokens. So I'm going to diversify my options, but I'm sure everyone has a different strategy how we want to approach this.
Yeah, brilliant. No, great answer. That is. I obviously definitely want to be on board. I was just had a bit of reservations on that, so greatly answered. Obviously not financial advice, but
yes,
if I was to ask you how you're doing that split in terms of percentages, are you happy to share, or
honestly, I have no idea right now.
Okay.
We are so heads down on the program and the smart contracts and the user interface and whatnot. It's already too overwhelming. But I do not have that information right now because I have not thought about it.
For sure. And last question. We obviously working towards mass adoption, and we want a lot of nodes up and running. How do we achieve that? Are we looking at centralized exchanges, and are there any plans for those, or are those on the back burner for the moment?
So I probably didn't catch your question correctly. So your intention of the question was mass adoption of using the product or mass adoption of holding the tokens?
So the question is, we obviously want to go for mass adoption, so we need exposure to different exchanges, I would have thought. So is there any plans for exchanges going forward yet?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I'm a fan of decentralized exchanges, but I highly value the centralized exchanges as well. So it's going to be an option available to, people to go to more centralized exchanges as well. And there are some centralized exchanges you're looking at right now. So, yes.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thanks again, Vish. Great platform. Thanks. Always refreshing to have someone from the team talking to us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time today, Abs.
No problem.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, Mark.
All right. I have a question. What is the difference between dark matter and cluster?
Yes. So, dark matter is something which you would need to operate the cluster. So let's say that the cluster doesn't have dark matter, the cluster will not start. So it's a requirement for it to have or own a dark matter as a, what do you say? It requires dark matter to basically launch a cluster.
All right. So earlier you said cluster is for the one who have like technology knowledge. So even if I have like 50 nodes, if I don't have technology node or any like computing power to support, then I may not run cluster.
Yeah, you can choose not to participate there. What you could do is you could actually mint the dark matter from that and then combine your NFTs into one set and you can sell them on the market to anyone who wants to own it.
Okay. And for the lottery, you said it's about, you're expecting it to be like $3,000 of stack token. So if I want to mint more than one of generation 0, then can I stake like $9,000 of stack token and hope to win like 3?
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course, man.
Vish, for the Gen 0 node. So sorry again, I missed this part. But so you stake $3,000 worth of stack, and then sorry, it's just a lottery. So you'll get the NFT airdrop to your wallet. Is that what's going to happen?
Yes, correct. So the ones who win the lottery, they will immediately get an airdrop of the NFT.
And the NFT counts for 50 nodes, but the rewards are only for one node, right?
So they receive 50. So they have an option to invest up to $5,000 and participate in the high APY program. They will receive the ETH and the Matic rewards as if they are single nodes and not multiple nodes. That makes sense.
Right. Sorry, just so you pay $3,000 for Gen 0 node. If you're lucky to get it, your maintenance fees are based on 50 nodes, which is $5,000 a month.
It's up to $5,000, so you can pick to pay like $300 or whatever.
It goes back to that same point where you don't have to pay maintenance fees for every individual node, right?
Correct, exactly.
But then so my question there is, right. So I think initially I thought you only get one node rewards, but are you saying if I'm paying maintenance fees for, let's say, 35 of those 50 nodes, so if I'm paying $3,500 a month, then my rewards will also be for $3,500.
APY, yes. Correct, yes.
But my question there is why are we complicating it by saying why didn't we just do individual nodes and allow people to buy them than giving people like Gen Note, which has up to 50 nodes?
So here's a reason for that, right? So basically the 100 NFTs, so they are very, very limited in number, right? And we want to keep it limited because they're Gen 0, they are also a collectible item. So we don't want them to be like, higher than that. So that is the major difference between that. We are giving them a higher incentive as well because they're going to be expensive. We want people to think of that as an NFT, which is going to. There are people who have a lot of capital and they want to use that capital to get more rewards. And obviously, not everyone can pay $5,000 every month, right? So it's an option which is open to the only few people who are willing to either get it to the lottery or get through an auction. Regardless, people who have high capital, it becomes harder and harder for them to mint a new NFT and pay those pay for those NFTs a monthly fee for every generation. So it just makes it harder, and we want to attract people with high liquidity as well to be able to help the entire market.
Right. Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Awesome.
Hi, Vishnu. Just a quick question on that there. So if in order to be eligible for Gen Zero, you need to have $3,000 worth staked on the governance tab, is it?
No, not on the governance. There is going to be a separate dashboard on the same governance website. It is not available yet, but it is going to be. And then basically people will have to pull the liquidity out for the tokens out from those single staking pool, bridge it via Poly Network Bridge, and then use it to mint from that new dashboard.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I have both at the minute. I have some on Matic, and then I have some staked on the governance tab that I need to bridge across. So when this is released, we'll have time to bridge across.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely,
So and then you put into the lottery at that stage.
Yeah, exactly. I would personally do the same. I would keep the stack where it is right now on the rewards, which I do until the node options are available.
Yeah, I wasn't sure the time frame, so I kind of split 50-50 and had both on each side. So at least then, if it did create a problem, I'd still be eligible to get at least some. So that's really
there'll be enough time. There'll be enough time. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Perfect. Thanks.
Awesome.
Vishnu, with when the stacks that we stake when you launch the new staking tab for the lottery, once we stake those, if we don't win or win a slot in the lottery, you can just unstake those, right?
Yes, you can. Absolutely. You can either unstake them, or you can use the same stacked tokens to mint the new NFTs at a discount.
All right. So when Gen 1 comes out, then you can use those same ones to. Is that just for this program, or is that then whatever? So let's say, like someone said, you put in $10,000 or $9,000 worth of stack, you don't get Gen 0 slot. Then when you say discount, what is the discount, or is it 20% or?
That number is not ready yet. Will be 10 to 20%. Yes.
Oh, okay, brilliant. So that's something new that's come out of this AMA, right?
Yeah, I mean, probably it's probably not there yet because it's not public information.
Oh,
but
great.
yes, that's
okay,
true.
so
yeah.
So if you want an NFT, no matter what, anyway, then it's best just to leave it in there and wait until you actually get one.
Yeah, exactly. So the reason behind this is what we don't want people buying the stack tokens now, and then if they don't get the lottery, start selling them back on the market. We would rather incentivize them to be able to really keep it there and then mint the new NFTs instead.
Yeah. Vishnu, what would you say for anyone who's got reservation like myself that never lucky with lotteries and I just kind of got this perception that it's going to take me forever to get my hands on nodes because there's obviously a lot of interest in the project.
So here's the thing, right? I mean, the lotteries, and trust me, I was extremely unlucky until recently, right? So luck just changes once, and it just needs to change just once, right? Like let's say where you've been working hard for a very, very long time, and this one time an opportunity strikes, and it sets you good for your entire lifetime, right? It's one of those things. I'm not saying that is going to happen here or it's going to happen now, but there's always the fact that it is lucky or it's luck is because it is unknown, right? And I mean, it doesn't hurt to participate. So it's rather to participate than to not participate at all, I would say.
Yeah, true. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Of course, man.
Sorry, Chris again. So just a question then in terms of kind of like the mechanics. So if we go for the lottery in Gen 0 and we don't get it, like does it cascade to the next gen automatically that we can go for that?
So the minting works, it's just a very simple minting process. You can pick the number of NFTs you want to mint. You pick and you click mint, and then whatever is available next in the transaction, it is allocated to you.
Okay, and just to go back to the, sorry, I don't remember your name, the previous guy's point. So you get a discount. So if you don't get Gen 0, you would get a discount on future nodes.
Whichever, yeah, exactly. Which was available to mint, yes.
Okay, cool, perfect. That's great. Thanks.
Welcome, man. Cool. Any other questions, guys? I know there are a lot of questions on the chat. Please feel free to read out if you find a good question there. Humanly impossible for me to answer while reading. So.
Yeah, I did just that. Actually, I'd asked them in there, but you're after answering them, so thanks.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. All right, guys, anything else? Any other questions you have for me? I'll be happy to answer them. I can be here for next, probably like a few minutes, and then if there are no questions, we can all drop out, and all the best. And I hope you guys do well.
Thanks a lot. Looking forward to it.
All right.
Thank you.
Hi, Vishnu.
Hey, thank you, guys.
Hey,
Alfonso.
a question regarding the T1 release. I'm not sure. Are we seeing T1 release or 2?
What do you mean by seeing T1 release? Maybe I didn't catch your question correctly.
If I visit your comments, earlier comments, I think you mentioned, or some of the community member mentioned about 2 T1 release or
Yes.
T1 announcement, I should say.
Yeah. So the only one T1 has been announced yet. The next T2 announcement, the next T1s are not been announced yet. So hopefully, shortly we will have those as well.
So another one pending. It's not another 2.
No, the 2 more pending. Yes.
2 more pending, and that this side of the year, like in next 2 weeks' time, or
I can't tell you that. I really can't tell you that. I mean, it'll kill the surprise for everyone, right? And more than me,
yeah, of course.
Iman, who's the CMO, he'll kill me for this. He's like, dude, you destroyed my thunder. So.
Yep, makes sense.
Yeah.
Vishnu, sorry, just another quick one.
Of course, mate.
Is there, again, I know you can't give much away, but is there a lot happening behind the scenes that you haven't shared with the community yet?
I mean, we do try our best to say everything. I hope that I've covered pretty much everything, but then there's always something which gets missed out. But I think overall I did cover most of the things which were there. I do feel that we have come a long way in terms of a lot of adoption as well, and I mean it is beyond my expectations as well. And we are the officially fastest growing decentralized cloud operator. So which is really amazing to see. So I'm sure by the time we keep the phone, there'll be a few more new things coming in, and yeah, I mean, if one of those could be really big ones as well. So we just don't know yet.
Yeah, and I mean, I know you talk about nodes and you compare with Strong, or you give that as an example, but in terms of the technology itself, would you say that Flux are probably a competitor, and who else are competitors that you would say?
Mm-hmm. So I would say, in my opinion, I have a lot of respect for Akash. I think they have done a great job. Flux, not as much, primarily because, I mean, the nodes get more expensive with time, and it doesn't really help, right? I mean, if your nodes get more expensive with time, means that you are, when a lot of traffic, a lot of utilization starts to come onto the network, on their network, you may not be able to scale up your infrastructure to meet those demands, right? And in fairness, like it or not, right, they do not have much adoption. Almost no one uses them, right? It is different with Akash. I think Akash has got a sustainable 400 applications deployed on Akash. That's why I pay more respect to that, because they are not just about minting NFTs and giving rewards. They do have users and they have adoption of the platform. So I would say that Akash is probably a closer competition to us than Flux is. But yeah, I think that's how I would put it myself, right? But again, there are people with all different opinions. I don't want to dishearten some of their supporters either. It's just that we are focusing on adoption. We do have a great program which is incentivizing as well. And we are the fastest growing cloud, and that's public information.
Cool.
And almost reaching the most utilized, almost there. I think we are just about 20-30 applications below Akash.
Oh yeah, that was going to be my next question. So so we're higher end of the mid 300s now, are we?
Probably. I don't follow the markets every single day, but yeah, we're doing pretty well.
Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. Thanks again, mate. I think that's my questions done. So awesome. Yeah, thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you for this question, man.
No problem.
Any other questions, guys? Happy to answer them, or we can all get to better things in life. Cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate your time. It's 45 minutes past what we had originally planned to do. And thank you all for being here. It was amazing. Thanks very much. Bye.
Thanks, Akash. See you later. Bye. Sorry, Vish.
Of course, man.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Bye.